You are not alone. This is the resistance.
There's a lot of difficult things about making a personal video that I'm finding the more I get to this point where I'm actually filming. You know, a video where you reveal a lot of things about yourself. In this video, I'm revealing a lot of things that I've never really said out loud. I mean, some I've put into words, and some I've told a select few people. But in this video, I'm really going to reveal myself, or my dark passages, and the things that have kind of affected me and have made me, helped make me into the person I am today, which is still whatever, and it's helped building me into the person I want to be. I guess first you have to understand, my dream is to be a spiritual leader. And even saying that just seems so, like, I know it's going to turn a lot of people off, because it's something that, you know, there's a lot of bullshit around it. There's a lot of people that exploit people and their need to believe in something. And I've experienced this other side of life. And even though the connection wasn't as strong as I was experiencing it when I was doing my little spirit quest, the memory of the experience, the fact that it's there, remains. And that's something I can never let go of, and it's something I'll always work towards, even when the progress seems slow. And if I want to be that person, and if I have to be able for you to trust me, and I don't want to hide anything, and I want to connect with people, and I want you to see me for who I am, just a really flawed person who has made a lot of mistakes and just wants to figure it out. I want to figure it all out. I rolled a good one because it's going to be difficult, kind of, you know. And I'm not doing this for anyone, like, it's hard because yes, I'm doing it for, oh yeah, I just said I want you to trust me, but it's really, it's all about healing. And really, I'm trying to heal me, and I'm hoping that in the progress of me healing myself, somebody else will be able to heal themselves in their own way, whatever way that is. So I guess, I don't know, where do we start? I guess at the beginning. I don't know if I've always been angry. I know I've had a lot of anger. Listen, I'm not going to name any names or anything like that, because what's happened has happened. But I was introduced to sexuality a lot earlier than what I needed to be, and a lot earlier than when I actually was supposed to be, when I hit puberty, very young age. And that kind of warped my sexuality at the very beginning. very confused, and I actually, the things I did, I brought forward. I brought them to my friends, and I repeated what happened because I thought that was normal. And it's not about excuses. I don't know if the anger came before or after that, after the confusion started. But I was a very angry kid. And in between these sexual um, adventures, I guess you could call them, before I was, very young age. I don't even want to say that age, okay? It was young. And it went into a few years. And, like, this sexuality, you have to understand, it went so far. It fucked me up then, and it's fucked me up now. It's those memories and just the things that got implanted on me were just, it fucked me up. Okay, it changed my view of things, and even now it's something I'm struggling with, and it's no one's fault because it's just, it happened. And it's not about blaming, it's not about making excuses. But let's get back to the beginning. During this time of this anger and sexually active things, there are several things I did wrong, including the one big thing which led me up right, gave me so much shame that I moved right from my town, because it was in that moment that I just, everything connected. I was like, holy shit, I'm a bad person, I'm a bad kid. I mean, I was keying cars, I was always angry, I was swearing, I was this very angry kid, and I used to do things too sexually, from like things like Pokemon cards and stuff for our other friends, like this, dragged up right till I moved, which was getting into the 13s. But there was one big event, one big fucked up thing that happened. And I was at my babysitter's, same place I go every Wednesday. And okay, first off, I want to tell you, I swear by God, on my very soul, that everything I say in this video is the truth. So like every Wednesday, I was at the babysitter's, and I wanted to go to the boys and girls club meeting, and I couldn't go. And the babysitter had other kids over, and a few girls. One of the girls was a few years younger than me. And we got to the point where we were alone, and I thought she liked me, I liked her, and I kind of brought this, like, I almost forced myself on her, and it was like not in any malice or any sort of, yeah, I have to, it's just, that's what I thought to do. And I know at some point in my head I knew it was probably wrong, but I'm so fortunate that the babysitter came down and caught me when she did. And in that moment, I was just so ashamed. I felt it. I knew it. It was wrong. What the hell was I doing? I ran. And the first thing I did was ran to my friend's house. And I'm not going to say names, but I was very good friends with them. And the first thing I did was lie about it. And I said, oh, she tried to do shit to me and stuff. And I tried to twist it right away. Well, of course, the babysitter phoned my mom. My mom tried to phone the house. I wasn't there, so she phoned the house where I was at. And she probably phoned the other house where I would have been at too. eventually I found out. And you know what's fucked up about the one house is that the mom that I lied to, she wasn't even. It was just something else. It was like, it was more the fact that I lied to her, that I, took her trust and just shat on it. It's like I shat on that girl's trust, and just like I shat on all my friends' trust that I had. That it was in that moment too that I knew it. I was like, oh, so ashamed. And even before that, years leading up to, I was very, like I said, I was very angry, and a lot of things I did. I brought that sexuality to another friend who ended up dying, and his parents caught porn on his computer, porn that I put on there, and I wasn't allowed to hang out with him again. And soon after he died, tragic quad accident, hit his head on the pipe, and it fucked me up because I went to the funeral, but I couldn't go inside. I was almost scared. I couldn't even go. And I waited, and I just waited outside. And then his parents walked by me, and they just gave me this look that was like, you are a fucking bad person. They think you're a little fucking disgusting little scumbag. And all these events I'm jumping to back and forth, that's just how my head. I'm sorry, and it's hard enough. But I'm going to try to stay in the same years of before the movie. These are my 0 to 13s. Anyways, I couldn't go to my friend's funeral. Well, I did, but it just fucked me up, okay? This whole sexuality thing just fucked me up. I remember there was one point I was living in Pinter Creek with my dad, and my mom would come get me every week, or every other weekend or something. I don't know, whatever. And I remember we just learned about sexuality in class, in sex ed. Grade 4, I think it was, or something. We learned about bisexual, homosexual, and heterosexual. And in the car, and I understood what bisexual was, and I wasn't a dumb kid. I was pretty dumb, but I wasn't dumb. I was in the car driving with my mom home, and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm bisexual. And she said, no, you're not. And I said, okay. And she said, well, that means you like both. I said, yeah, you okay? She said, no, you're straight. And I was like, okay. And that was, kind of the end of that. As in, I guess I'm not bisexual, I'm just fucked up. Because it's not like I really find an attraction to guys either. It's like I've not found a guy that I'm attracted to, honestly. I'd see those handsome guys and stuff, like everyone would say there's handsome, but a guy that I'm sexually attracted to, no. And I have been in a threesome with another guy, but that's another story. Well, it's the same story, just another part, I guess. So, like I already told you the big thing. So just between there was a lot of sexual things and a lot of just fucking me up. And I don't even remember when I hit puberty, really. It's like I was always in puberty because I was always experiencing these things. So that event, it just brought so much shame. I had to move. My dad was living in St. Paul. That's 8 hours away. I figured, gotta get out of here now. So I left. Some guy said goodbye to like 3 people. That life, God. moved to St. Paul. My anger has tripled, probably at this point. I mean, I'm fighting with my brother, my dad. I'm throwing TVs. Um, school, school has always been mess for me because I'm one of those guys that does nothing for the first half and then does just everything the second half and just pass barely. And I did that all throughout graduation. But school, I'd skip a lot and stuff, and it's always been like that. I started smoking weed when I was 15. Ironically, cigarettes I started first. Cigarettes is the gateway drug. But yeah, I started smoking cigarettes and I started smoking weed shortly after. And you know what? Weed did mellow out my anger. And then it also kind of, at the same time, I don't know if it made it worse, mellowed it out, or maybe I was just too stoned to care. Because at that time, weed was an escape. And at some level, maybe it still is. Like I'm smoking a joint because I feel like I have to be high to tell you all this shit. So maybe, yeah, on some level it's an escape, but I pretty much dropped the whole bisexual thing, I realized I was fucked up, and I kind of just held that in. And I didn't even lose my virginity until I was, like, almost 18. Because I didn't know what it should be like. And I was just watching a lot of porn and just masturbating a lot and trying to piece together what I should be doing and how to talk and what to do. And that now too has even reflected to now at some level. Like it's just socially, I just can't talk to people that much. And every time, really, I try, I just bumble. Or sometimes I'll make a joke and make a hit. And sometimes I'll say something really effed up. Like the job I recently started, there's turtles. Not recently, but like 4 months now, but there's turtles in the front. And I was over checking them out, and the bartender came over, and she's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey." And I was like, "Do you ever feed turtles to the other turtles?" she looked at me fucked, and I was like, "Yeah, right. I'm sorry. I don't know," and I just left. And that's just the kind of way I am. But anyways, back to the whole growing up thing. My dad is always working because he's a truck driver. He works hard. My brother, he's my brother. He's a dick, but he's my brother. He went off to university. He's 3 years older than me. So around that time that I moved, he was already 18, around there. Well, 17, 18. Like I think we spent like a year, maybe a couple years together. I'm not too sure. But Dad's always working, and really, it was alright. I just spent a lot of time on the computer, adult role-playing chats. Back when the internet was still young and fresh, and I used to role-play a lot. I used to write. I think I started writing really when I was from Cloud, the first town. Like I've always written, and I think smoking weed has really stopped me from doing, that's one of the things that I think has affected me greatly. And the whole point of this video is to take an open and honest look at myself. And yeah, smoking a lot of weed. I'm 28 now. I've been smoking since I was, again, 15. So, 14, 15. A long time. But I was in school, and I've never really fit in school either. I was one of those kids that's kind of like a ghost. And I was really good at drama, but I let my drama take over. and I dropped out. And I cut all the classes I actually liked because I felt like I've been scored in some way. I was just like a really stupid kid, and I missed a lot of opportunities and a lot of dreams I had. Listen, there was one dream that I've always had when I was younger, even when in the first town. The one thing I always wanted to do was find some sort of spirit. Like I was going to churches, trying to do whatever. I enjoyed it. And then all this shit happened, or started happening. I started, experiencing consequence and shame and all, and just life, and and I'm trying to escape with all my shit. And I fucked around with school, and I got suspended a lot for mostly smoking weed, selling weed once, fighting. I had my own little desk beside the principal's office, so that was pretty neat. So sometimes I'd just go there because it was the best being alone. And that's the attitude I developed very young, is it's just best be alone. And it's nice to have your friends, but really you're just scared that you're going to fuck them up too, like you just fucked up everything. And you're like King Midas, but your touch isn't gold. It's just a slow infection. So I was angry. I was always fighting with my dad. My dad, he worked so fucking hard, and I was just this fucking shit son. I really was. He worked so fucking hard. My mom too. And when I think about my privilege video, when I said, privilege, I was very privileged to have such loving parents to put up with me, and loving parents now that fucking help me out, because I'm so fucked up as an individual now. Yes, I am privileged, but it's not because of my skin color. It's because my fucking parents worked their asses off, and they're in the actual place to provide whatever they can for me. And a lot of people don't have that. It doesn't matter your skin color. My son doesn't have that. My son doesn't have neither of his parents. He doesn't have me because I'm too much of a fucking idiot to understand adult life and all the shit that's happened to me. I didn't take time to fucking figure it out, and now I don't know. I can't even take care of myself. And his mom is out fucking doing whatever. And it is, and when I said my touch is like a decay, it's true. It's true. I've just led this life of destruction. I really have. I left the house soon after I graduated. I played football too, but that's football. But I left the house soon after I graduated. I didn't leave St. Paul right away. I managed to get in some trouble first. Not actual trouble, so I was going to say events happened, and a year or so passed, and I ended up in Lethbridge for the first time. And I ended up in Lethbridge when I was, 19, 20? And right away, I was, I tried it out. I started working at Burger King, and with a buddy that I lived with in St. Paul, and he ended up just disappearing one day, bailing out. And another buddy I used to know, we moved into a different house together, and that got all messed up. So I ended up looking for a place and working at Petcetera. So I was working at Petcetera when a buddy came in, and he told me, "Hey, there's a place to open up our place, but another guy's coming, you gotta come with us." So I just quit Pet Center. I said, hey, guess what? I quit. I left. I went there. I got the place, but now I needed a job. The other guy that moved in was the pot dealer. So I started working with him, and that's how I started selling pot. Events happened. We ended up selling a little bit of crack, and I guess we got hooked. The money was too good, so we started selling that. And that's when I started getting into cocaine and shit, because I guess I'm not going to give an excuse for it. I just started doing cocaine and shit. And that was 2 years worth of, between starting and end of doing this, not selling crack, but including everything. And most of it was selling drugs. But we started selling the hard shit. I mean, that's when shit happened. Like, we were always getting broken into, getting beat up. I mean, fuck, man. It was just a brutal life. And I was doing fucking, I was just selling whatever for money. I was doing lines, and I was just on this massive path of self-destruction. And it was on one of the days that a buddy was just fucking, the crackhead was going nuts on our house in open daytime, just inside breaking everything. We're huddled inside the fucking door like fucking cowards. We should have just fucking, whatever, it happened. But we called the cops, and it turns out I had a fucking warrant, and the other buddy that was with us had a warrant. And you know what, honestly, I didn't even, whatever, I was like, you fucking take me. Yeah, it's all good. Let's go. So I went, I took the full rap, and it was good because our other friend got, he got to go out, and his situation was already kind of weird, so it was good that he got to go out and join the army and stuff. I went through house arrest. I moved back to St. Paul for house arrest. And even in that time, I was just going back and forth between shit. Right at the end of my house arrest, I moved to Edmonton. Just for a little bit. Moved back. When I started house arrest, I got this cat. His name was Tao. He was black and white. And I had him. I met my ex on house arrest too, and when I have my son with Casman, I met her on house arrest. And I got my cat. And I was really happy with my ex, and I guess she forgot to take birth control the one day, and it just became this really abusive relationship. Like, she was very violent, and she was always telling people things that I was doing or whatever, and I was just trying to be me, and I was just trying to make the best of what's happening, girlfriends unexpectedly pregnant and stuff. And it just got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. And she was saying stuff like, if you want me to leave, I'll leave. And I said, if you want to leave, you leave. And she left. And time passed. My cat, by the way, he's grown. We had a great bond, but I moved to my friend's house, Johnny. I brought my cat to my friend's house and let him go, right? I didn't really let him go. Like, I set him down, and then he went on his own. So he's gone. Cat's gone for now. My son's born at the hospital in Edmonton. I find out from her sister, and then I get a ride up to Edmonton, and I have to sleep in the benches, and then I get to see my son. And we name him Casman Dimitri Luxinger. And it's beautiful. So I try my best. It wasn't my best, I could have tried harder to be with her, and be with my son, and we're on this on and off thing, and time keeps passing, and the time I do spend with my son is mostly just cuddling, and playing a video game. He just like watching me, like, you know, he watched, and I should have read. And there's so many things I should have fucking done. Well, I could have. So much time I fucking wasted. Precious time that I could have used. Time passed. Time passed. She's still just as fucked up. She starts doing her thing with drugs or whatever. And, you know, I leave again. And so much time and so much events happen between there and now and there. By the way, the cat, my fucking cat. They found my cat in Saddle Lake, where we were staying on the north side where I was with my son. And the family were like, who knew my cat, were like, hey, that's Tao. They brought him back. My cat was back. Turns out my son was allergic to cats. Middle of winter, or you have to keep my cats out in the SUV, and there's not just one cat, there's my cat, and then there's my ex's cat, her kitty. So we can't keep them in the SUV, it's stinking up and shit, we can't keep them inside. I'm trying to let them go, but they're not going anywhere. So they're saying they're going to shoot them. I say, you're not shooting my cat. If anyone's shooting my cat, I'm shooting my cat. So after all this time, after all this bond, and my cat coming back, I take him out, and there's this spot that was just a circle with it was like melted grass around the stone. And I put some ham on there, and I let him eat a fucking big piece of ham, and then I shot him in the head. And you know what's fucked up about cats is that after you shoot them, they start fucking flopping around and shit. So not only did I fucking have to watch my cat flop around, but I had to reload quickly while doing it, and then shoot him again. And then I had to do the same thing with the kitty. I didn't have to, because I was already, if I'm going to kill my cat, I might as well kill a fucking little kitty too, while I'm at it. I wanted to cremate him. You know what I did instead? Threw him in a bag in the fucking trash. I couldn't stop fucking crying, man, after I did it. And I still do. I still do break down sometimes about that moment. And all these other moments that I've had. There's another video I did. This is something I did forgive myself for, but my grandma was raped and strangled and murdered, and I say that because it was the most fucking brutal way by my auntie's boyfriend at the time, the guy I called uncle. And I didn't go to her funeral, and this was when I was really young, but I didn't go to her funeral because I wanted to fucking stay home and play a fucking video game. And I just got back from leaving, this whatever, that's not an excuse. I mean, there's so many things and events in my life. And I'm saying these things so not only to help heal myself, but so people can understand. I've done a lot of shit. I've felt a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things. And I talk about all these things and all these spiritual type of things, and they're not just fucking things, you know, that have come out of the blue. Because all these things that I've experienced and that have happened have led me to a moment that have allowed me to experience this other side of life. And have given me that hope. And it's not about religion. It's not. My life has just been a whirlwind destruction. There was a story. Oh yeah, the threesome story. Might as well tell that too. So I was with a friend, very good girlfriend, who we had a deal. If it was like a threesome, if another guy, I'd be the other guy. If there's a girl, she'd be the other girl. And hold on, sorry, I'm gonna blow my nose now. Anyways, like I really am jumping back and forth because there are a lot of things I want to get back to about the drug shit. But threesome story. I ended up having a threesome with a guy. I went to Fort McMurray to work and stuff, and during that time, I guess he started saying, spreading a rumor that I gave him herpes or something, which wasn't true. And anyways, he ended up dying from exposure because he left the party without a jacket. And he also happened to be best friends with my best friend's girlfriend, who she happened to kill herself after all this stuff happened. But yeah, he ended up dying. And you know what's fucked up is a rumor started that I held the party and kicked him out. And I was not even in the town, and I'm not a person who really hold parties. But yeah, that should happen. But the whole thing I wanted to get to is this whole spiritual thing. And when it really started happening, when I started getting back to my original dream when I was a kid, is like, I gotta do something else. It was shortly after I got arrested that I started receiving all this karma that I built up. Because really, when I was selling, I was getting beat up a lot. But it wasn't really equal to the damage I was doing with what I was giving people for money, and like how much the shit actually cost me and how much I was selling it for. I was taking people's lives away with that. And there's no amount of punishment I can take that could ever equal true forgiveness for the damage I've done with those actions. But it started at the time I started realizing, and just by events, I ended up covering my foot and leg in flaming hot oil. And I didn't even go to the hospital for the first week because we had a lot of oxys and morphines left to sell, so I ended up just doing all those. And then when we ran out of those, the pain really started kicking in, so I went to the hospital and found out that it was actually really bad. I was supposed to have a hole in my foot, but luckily my foot healed, and they didn't have to skin graft it. But it was really bad. Like, I'd stand up and blood would come out of the burns, like kind of like in little dots, like doll's hair, kind of. They really burned, and you know, they put my foot in a swirling tub of salt, warm salt water every day for like 5 minutes, and that would burn, and everything burned. And I was already awaiting prosecution. I had this injury. We got kicked out of the other house, of course, that we were living in. So now, with this injury, I get out of the hospital about a month and a half later. So, and I get out of the hospital, and we ended up having to be in this other guy's house, and I have to stay in a basement in this like lazy boy chair. And it was such a shitty time. I ended up through those events being on cardboard in someone's basement. And I was working at McDonald's. I was still doing coke occasionally, and I got fired from McDonald's because I stole a bag of chicken because I was hungry. And I went to see the probation guy before prosecution, and he just looked at me, and he could tell that I was on the edge, and I was about to end it, because I was. and he sent me to the psych ward. So I was in the psych ward until prosecution. And shit happened in the psych ward. And it was just, listen, we're running off 40 minutes. I can't give you all the details, and I want you to know. Those things that I told you earlier, those are my biggest regrets, mistakes. But I have hurt a lot of people. I've done a lot of bad things. And I've experienced a lot of pain. Not just physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I was in St. Paul before I started my walk, and at that point, I mean, I still wasn't at the point where I am now, where I'm like, this exists. I was at the point where I'm still just a lazy piece of shit. I still just going on the edge. I'm not doing what I should be doing. I'm not paying child maintenance. I'm just being a piece of shit, a lazy piece of shit still. I lose my jobs. I lose my home. I'm at my best friend's house, and I end up finding information that I can't stay there, and I ended up just walking out to this lake. And it was at that time I wasn't really upset. It's just my mind was very clear, and I had this little voice. It was my voice, but it was stronger. It was like a different version of me. It was very strong and confident, and it said, you know, it was talking to me, and I said, how do I know I'm not talking to myself? And it said, no, this is just your voice. This is you. This is in time you'll hear my true voice. And it was just a conversation. And I'm putting it very simply because it was very a crazy experience. Got to this lake, I sat down, and there's just this sunset and 100 seagulls and mosquitoes and everything was moving together. Everything was perfectly aligned, like a giant clock, like a machine. And I thought, how could have this not have been just set up like this? You know, set up and move along. Why isn't evolution just a part of creation? And then I started really thinking about myself. And I went through all these things that I just talked to you about now. And now that I got all that out of the way in that moment, I was clear to remember other things. What did I like doing when I was growing up? Well, I liked writing. Well, what did you want to do? I wanted to find God. I really did. That was my dream since I was a kid. How fucking crazy is that? Right? I'm such a fucking idiot, right? Whatever. That's my dream. So I said, I want to find enlightenment. What else do you want to do? I want to travel. So they said, well, you're homeless right now. And when I say this is my voice in my head, I said, well, you're homeless right now. You know, you have things you can get rid of. You have people you can maybe get help started. Why don't you just start walking now and start writing? Start finding that shit. So I said, okay, why not? And at that point, something flipped in my head, and that's the part where I went crazy. And all my friends that I interacted with really did see me as crazy because my one friend, she would look at her face, and she was with a different friend, and they're at her campfire, and I come walking in her yard because I find this stick at the lake. This is the first thing that I've gotten, by the way. This is my most precious possession, the stick right here. And we're waving this stick around, and I'm like, I figured it out. I fucking figured it out. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I figured out life. Everything that's happened to us in these moments has led us to this moment. You, me, the fire, the air, the bugs, the grass, everything. Your feelings, your thoughts, everything. So let's explore this moment together. That's what I was trying to say. But I don't think they heard it like that. I think they heard, fucking crazy now. So I did that, and I started, I saw a few friends, and I started gathering up my shit. And then I started walking. And I'm really going to cut this simply and short, because this walk part wasn't the point of the video. It was the other parts of the video. Only the experience of what happened during the walk was important at this moment. So during that time, during that walk, I learned so many things. Lessons, like I'd run out of water and then I'd stop and be like, what the fuck am I doing? This is crazy. And then I'd come across a spring. Not even, it's between Murnham and St. Paul. And it's funny about that story too, because I was walking and everything was flat, and a guy came up and he offered me a ride, the only person to stop and offer me a ride anywhere, and I was like, how far is Murnham? And he's like, 10 kilometers. I'm like, I got it. Everything was flat, and then it ended up hills. And I broke my cart, but I ended up getting a new one. Like, there's so many experiences I can tell you about, but that's not the point. The point is, I went on this journey. And I discovered something that a lot of people don't even realize exists. And it's even sadder that they do realize it exists, but not in the ways they think, or the definitions that they think. Now, I mean, they don't realize. Because we're all talking about the same thing. You can fuck off with your labels and your definitions. Sorry about that. Apparently we ran out of time. Anyways, just fuck off with your definitions. Because it's not about that. I discovered something, and now I'm trying to not only discover more about it, I'm trying to explain it. And I just end up being another crazy shithead on Facebook and YouTube. Look, I want everyone to understand your life and your struggles and the things you've gone through and the things that have happened to you. They didn't happen to you because you're bad or because you're cursed or whatever. They happened to you because they're leading you. They're leading you to someone you can be, and you always get choices. You can become the person you want to be, or the person you need to be. Right now I'm struggling between the two. And it's hard, man. It's really hard. Because I have all these regrets and all these mistakes that I'm still struggling with. But you know what? Just even making this video, I already feel better. I really do. And it's just going to be harder posting it. But when I do, it's going to be hard then. But I know I'll feel better. Because it's only by opening up to yourself. And you know what? These things, a lot of things that happened to me, maybe some of the things weren't my choice, or some of the things weren't my fault. But a lot of things were. And even if I was a kid, I still, did it. They're all our choices. And even if the things that aren't our choices, we still have the choice to react and to get through it and to be more and to live and to survive and to love. We have that choice. Sometimes it seems like it's not there, but it is. I'm very lucky, and I am very privileged to have my mom and just people around to love and to support me, even after going crazy. Because that's what a lot of people think that stage was. Even I consider that stage going crazy, because I was going crazy. All the stuff that happened. And I want to get back to that point. But I also want to somehow survive in this society. And it's so hard to do because I don't want money. I want my son, but I need money for that. Maybe one day somehow it could happen. But in so many ways, I'm such a fuck up. Because I'm 28 now, and I don't even know how to adult. Like, I'm very blessed to have people help me out the way they do, or else, I'd probably be dead. Just from events throughout my life. If people weren't there, I'd probably be dead. And I'm sure it's with a lot of people. Or who knows where we'd be. And funny thing is, a lot of love that came to me, when I was on that journey too, a lot of love that came to me were from people who I didn't really talk to that much. Or the ones that were like, hey, you're fucking cool now. And really connected. Or who I was more open with connecting to, because I was like, I want to explore you. Who are you? In that stage, everything was new to me. And these dark passengers, they stick around. Even now, my sexuality is just, it's pretty messed up. I don't know what I am, I watch porn, I masturbate, I got a lot of shit that I have to deal with to get on this road. But you know what? I'm not gonna get to it by hiding this all in. Because we are all our mistakes. We did these things. I did these things. That's not who I am now. I use those memories and I use those things to turn me into the opposite. To forge me into a better person. Some people let their mistakes hold them down. That's the wrong thing to do. Don't let your regrets, don't let who you were in the past hold you back from who you should be. Because you are. You're beautiful. You're strong. You have courage. You're smart. Some people, they don't realize these things. Sorry about that again, because I ran out of room. And I had to delete some stuff. Listen, I gotta take these signs. These are signs that I have to end this video, because in total this video and these parts are gonna be over an hour. Listen. We are not our mistakes. Our experience has built us. They have shaped us. They have shaped our perceptions of things. But they're not who we are. And we need to break past that. Seize your shine. And I know that sounds so fucking lame, but it's just find what makes you happy. And even if it's something as trying to be a fucking guru, fucking do it. I'm gonna do it. And I'm not gonna let fear of judgment, other people's judgment, hold me back anymore. And this is the true first step. Listen, I can be your friend. That sounds so fucking lame too. I'm too stoned. Let's end this here, guys. If you've listened to this and if you stuck along with this long, thank you, because it really means a lot to share this experience with you, and to share this moment with you. And I hope by doing this, you find the courage to really look yourself in the mirror. And good luck, because it's such a beautiful fucking world sometimes, and we can't let our own shit get in the way of seeing that. No more fear, only love. Good night.